Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Before I Fall. So in honor of Cupid's Day, I got 2 roses here, as well as this really neat little rose pin that they handed out. So in the film, getting these 2 roses would be pretty shameful, but in my actual life, this is 2 more roses than I'll be getting this or any Valentine's Day. So they showed this movie here in Denver on February 12th, almost a full month before the release date of the film, to kind of collaborate with the whole Cupid's Day in the film and the fact that it all takes place on February 12th. So I thought that was a really fun touch. I thought it was fun to have the roses, and they had these wonderful advertising pins. It was just a really nicely thought out advertising event. But being that the film doesn't come out for a month, I actually knew next to nothing about this movie. I hadn't read the book that it's adapted from. I haven't really seen any promotional materials on it. So I was flying in almost blind. But Before I Fall tells the story of a girl who basically has a young adult novel version of Groundhog's Day. So she's just reliving February 12th over and over again. But that's all I'm going to go over when it comes to the plot, because I don't usually do plot summaries and I don't want to give anything away. But in short, I thought this was a pretty good movie. It was a nice, solid, young adult film. So let's go ahead and jump in to the positives. So Zoe Deutsch is the lead in this film, and I think she was perfect for this lead role. She plays somebody who really starts out as a popular, not-so-nice girl in high school, but you can tell there's something there, there's heart there, and she plays that very, very well. She's a relatable kind of pretty. She can play like the pretty bitchy girl well, but she also has like a really warm smile and a warm face just naturally. So I think that she was wonderful for this kind of role. And I think all of these young actors and actresses did a nice job. There were no other real standout performances in my eyes, but again, everybody felt pretty relatable even when the screenwriting made them feel like caricatures. I also think this film has a great message about bullying and about acceptance, about self-acceptance and accepting of others, and about utilizing the time we're given here to make the most of that and do great things, not only for yourself and making yourself a great person, but doing things for other people and helping enrich their lives as well. All of it. The whole messaging of this film was just fantastic, and I think really important for people of the target age group to see. It's also shot really nicely. I think it's edited to move at a nice, fast pace. I never really thought the movie dragged too much or was lagging. So that's always a positive, especially when this is like a Groundhog's Day and you're just reliving the same scenarios over and over. To make sure that the movie keeps moving is really important. And the ending caught me a little bit by surprise, which it really shouldn't have. But I think it was a satisfying ending. I think it does end on a really solid, satisfying note, so I left content with how the film ended, because it could have easily went off into some other direction that was like, ugh, why? But they ended it nicely, so kudos to the novel if that's how it ended there, but definitely kudos to the film for having the conviction to end the way it did. So to start off our negatives, I'm going to harken back to that whole release date situation. So again, I saw this on the 12th, which made perfect sense for what's happening in this movie. It's all revolving around Valentine's Day and the school with the whole Valentine's grams and all of that fun stuff. Why is this movie being released at the beginning of March? I don't understand. This would be great counter-programming for people not old enough to see something like 50 Shades of Grey, the high school, middle school demographic, to have something fun to go watch on Valentine's Day. I think this would have really been a great option to be released into theaters on Valentine's Day weekend. So I think it's going to feel a little bit odd watching this at the beginning of March, knowing that we just passed over this exact time. Another negative I have is that this is something we've seen before, all across the board. It doesn't do Mean Girls in high school nearly as well as Mean Girls does. It doesn't do Groundhog's Day as well as the original does, or even as well as something like Edge of Tomorrow did. They really rush through a lot of their parts, which helped with the pacing, as I said before, but I think had us skip out on some crucial character development moments. We got some of those, but since we didn't see so much in those clips, it felt like, okay, we understand where this part is coming from. Where is A, B, C, D coming from, though? And I have to say, these girls are almost unredeemably not likable at the start. And that's a huge problem, because as we move on through the movie and she herself starts learning the lesson, it's hard to warm up to everyone, because you're just like, ugh, you're terrible people. And you're like, the goodness that was in there somewhere was buried pretty deep down now, wasn't it? Because it took you a little bit too long to get to the final message of the movie. And is the case with a lot of these standard high school type movies. They are all kind of caricatures. They're the caricature of the head nasty girl, the caricature of the weirdo. Both female and male weirdos are pretty standard. Caricature of the hot boyfriend, all of them. So just everybody in the film never really felt like the high schoolers I could identify with from my personal experience. And of course, this doesn't really feel like my personal experience because, I'm lame and all. But that's always a problem with these high school movies. Is they have to watch themselves from falling into complete stereotype mode when developing these characters and cliques in their fantasy high schools. But although it is been there, done that, I do think that this is a pretty solid young adult film. We don't get to see the Groundhog's Day scenario play out so much in these type of movies, and I think it worked nicely here to give a great message that is really needed now as cyberbullying has taken off so much and regular old school bullying still persists. So anti-bullying messages are always spot on, and then of course the loving aspect here, the kindness aspect here, is definitely poignant in this point in time, to be honest. So I think it's a solid watch for young adults, for teenagers, for preteens. I think they'll enjoy it. They'll feel like this is something sophisticated, but also something relatable to them. So if you do have somebody in that age group, I think this is the full price for you. If not, I think you can wait for this to come on to rental. I think it's worth checking out, just maybe not at a theater price. So, that has been my review of Before I Fall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Before I Fall? Have you read the book? And what is your favorite Groundhog's Day scenario film? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!